if this takes longer every time.
Oh, we're all staring at you.
Okay. We are live. We are live. Well, welcome everyone to our June 15th Stark County District Library Board of Trustees meeting. It's good to see everyone. It's a beautiful sunny day, a little cool. Very nice. Do we have anyone signed in for public comments? I don't see anyone. So move on to board president comments, and I'll just say it's great to be, in person without a mask on for the first time in quite some time. So glad to see everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we'll move into staff reports. Mary Ellen.
Okay, hello everyone. I wanted to let you all know that the Ohio Senate voted on the state budget last week, and their version of the budget bill included funding the public library fund at 1.7% of the general revenue fund. And this is what all of the libraries in the state and the Ohio Library Council had been advocating for. So the budget now is in what's called conference committee, and they have members of the House and members of the Senate on the committee, and they're going through it right now. The bill must be signed by the governor by June 30th to go into effect July 1st. But going into the conference committee, we were positioned well for the PLF. So fingers crossed, everything will still remain at 1.7%. Additionally, in terms of funding, the Library Foundation is having their virtual fundraiser this year. It's called Dive Into Reading. It will be an online virtual silent auction from July 1st through July 15th. And on the last night, they're going to do a video presentation. We're going to do a slideshow of library initiatives and things that we've accomplished this past year. And Mary, count on their president, and I will record a video message for folks. Also,
July what?
Oh, July 15th.
15th.
Yes.
And there's no admission or anything to that? I mean, I just got the little card today.
Right. It's free to attend, and on July 1st, that's when the bidding will start if you want to bid on something. And they've been collecting a lot of basket items and gift cards, and they're going to have wine baskets and things. Stephanie's been very busy gathering all of the donations. Okay, in other news, East Canton, their last day of in-building service was this past Saturday. Anne is the East Canton manager, and she'll tell you more about the branch. And this week is when we start to provide alternative services to East Canton in the form of the bookmobile being there a couple times a week, I believe. Steve, you mentioned the masks. We have rolled back all of our COVID protocols as of June 2nd here, following the ending of the state of Ohio health orders. So we're moving furniture back into our facilities, adding more computers, starting to plan more in-person programs, first outdoors and then looking towards indoor programming, as well as opening up our meeting room spaces for the public to book, which there has been quite a demand for. So we're excited about moving forward with all of those changes. And in my report, I had mentioned that on our first day of the Summer Challenge registration, we had 1,272 registrations. So I asked Julia this afternoon what the count was as of today. And as of this afternoon, we have 1,900 registrations for Summer Challenge.
Wow,
and that's
great.
Children, teens, and adults. And for reference, last year, our virtual year, in total, we had 987 teens and children. So it's really great to be back doing the summer reading challenge that we all love to do for the families in the community. And I really want to commend the staff in the branches, mobile services, outreach, everyone who's been working so hard to make it a success under Julia Shaheen and Mariana's leadership.
The real work of the life.
The real work. And it feels good not to be having to do COVID planning and actually be working on, the work that's core to our mission. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you, Marilyn.
Sure.
I should have mentioned the board president comments. I thought your article or letter to the editor or whatever you call that, op-ed piece or whatever was great.
Oh,
I thought
thank
it
you
was
very much.
awesome. It's like, and I read that, I thought, actually I read it before you, my wife pointed it out to me. She pointed it out to me. And it's like, if anybody ever needs a reason or anybody tries to understand why we still need libraries, my gosh, read that. Please just read that. Get out of your own little world and understand why our community needs the library and why Stark County needs this library. Okay.
Just what we were talking about before.
But thank you again for an excellent report.
Thanks.
Chris?
Thank you. I feel like I just keep saying this all year, but it's been another not quiet but good month. Revenue and expenses were on track with where we are historically through the end of May. We've spent about 33% of our general fund budget as of May 30th. 2019, we were at 35%. So we've always been in kind of the low to mid 30s at this time of year. So we're perfectly on track as far as expenses go. For revenue, we've collected about $9.3 million in revenue, which is 49% of our revenue for the year. We obviously still have June, so we're probably gonna hit that halfway mark. About 6.2 million of that has been from the levy, which is 53% of the levy revenue. I think usually the second half tends to be a little bit less than the first half for one reason or another. So it'll probably come in close to 100%. It might be a little high or a little low of 100. But for the most part, it's going to come right on track. PLF. So as I said, we're at 49% total revenue. The PLF through May, we were at 3.2 million, which was 42% of what we were expecting for the full year. And we were actually about 5% over on the PLF from what we expected through the end of May. However, we actually received June since so far into June. We usually receive June about this week, but it came last week, so it came a little bit early this time around. And I don't know if you recall at the last board meeting, but I mentioned that May's was so we had also happened to receive May's early last time. May was a little bit less than what we had anticipated, and that was largely due to the tax deadline being moved from April 15th back. And we always receive the PLF, for the preceding month's tax collection in the following month. So May was for April tax collections, and April tax collections were a little bit lighter. They were about 5% less. Well, in June, where we received the May tax collections, which would have had a large portion of that backdated or pushed back tax collection, we actually received 37% more than anticipated. So across the entire state, it was about $13 million more than expected. For us, again, it was about $248,000 more. So overall for the year, we're actually now about 11.3% higher than we had expected for the PLF. So the PLF's in a really strong position. I think that goes along with, the state and other government entities have been saying that tax collections and everything have been pretty strong. So hopefully that continues along with the good news that, so everything points to the PLF likely being at 1.7% for the rest of the year. So we should continue to have good PLF income, as well as the levy is continuing to look promising on income there. Any questions?
Questions or comments for Chris? All right, Chris, thank you.
Good news.
Yeah, very good news. Very good news. Next, we'll welcome Ann Pukansky.
You did great. Most people don't even try that. So kudos. So thanks for having me. It's good to see everyone again. So if you're not familiar with the East Canton branch, hi, I'm Ann. I'm the branch manager. We are a quiet little branch with 3 full-time staff, 2 part-time staff, about 10 minutes east of Canton. So East Canton is a sleepy little village, and the library and the schools are really the crown jewel in the area. If you're not familiar with the area, there's really not a lot out there. So we're really proud of the service that we provide out there.
Oh, no.
And I think we might have lost you. Can anybody else hear us?
I know, right? Can we
Can we-
chat her in the Zoom?
Well, Bob, are you able to hear us?
I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you. I can see this spinning
And I can hear
thing
Ann.
that started screen sharing.
Can you hear Anne?
No.
Can't hear her now, no.
Okay. Anne, can you hear us? I can.
She's talking.
See if she can disconnect and reconnect.
She's giving a wonderful presentation that none of us can hear. So,
Marielle, can you see if they?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Stephanie is texting her.
Okay.
She's
She's
getting the bad news now.
I don't have Teams up, I closed it, so my computer was on.
I know.
Yeah, so she just disconnected me.
You know, I think that's just a human reaction. Because they can't hear you, and you can talk about what's going on. She gonna try to.
Did she see it?
I think she's thinking that.
No.
You can't hear me, she says?
I'll try to do that.
Okay, she's gonna try and get it on her phone.
Nice.
Well, that's because the F5 is 6 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, they were having a lot of issues with the first one.
She's gonna disconnect.
And then apparently they were mentioning.
Is it, okay, yeah, I know.
So you suddenly go, when they were working on phones, suddenly it's on here. You look down there, you fucking would be just, it would just come.
That's better than sounding like a robot.
Yes.
That's not.
I tend to sound like a robot that's,
What
taking
yours
like
does.
ransom.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
Interesting. Let's see if we can hear it now. Did she try going out and it's disconnecting and going back in? It didn't work. She's trying to, Ann, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can.
Yay! You guys, I just gave an Oscar-worthy speech and nobody could even hear it. I'm so sorry.
You were commenting on how enthusiastic you were.
It's like the worst fail. So anyways, I can't see Chris's screen. That was really what I started off saying is he was sharing my PowerPoint, but for some reason I cannot see it. So I'm going to bring it up while I talk to you. Anyway, so what I was saying as I was introducing myself for just the sake of speeding things along is that East Canton is a very sleepy little town. There's not a lot out there. We have a lot of residents that are in outlying areas that just don't have a lot of service to anything other than the library and the school. So this year has been really challenging for us. I'm really proud of what the staff and I did in keeping things afloat and building our statistics throughout the year. So the first slide in my presentation is just me comparing 5 months of 2020 to the first 5 months of 2021. We really saw an uptick every month consistently in our visits and our one-on-one sessions that we were providing. Particularly notary services were very popular. So we're just really excited that despite all the restrictions that were in place and a lot of the limitations to what we used to do, reduced hours, we were still seeing a lot of growth, and that was really promising. So then my next slide should be a highlight of our partnership with the schools, which is our crown jewel that we have going on in the township. So the school district doesn't have a really strong library. So we've always had a really strong partnership with them where all of the students from the elementary through the high school would make weekly visits to the library for programming, for circulation. And obviously we had to stop doing that. So we spent a lot of time working with the school district at the beginning of the school year to talk about how we both wanted to offer and receive this service and to develop a plan to do this safely. So we were able to do so. Fortunately, because we're located in the Fultz Community Center, We have a really large room that was available to us. So we set up a pop-up library that was socially distant, mobile, checkout terminal. We were still able to provide readers advisory, browsing services to these kids. They still could come in the library if they didn't see what they liked. And it just worked out beautifully. The only time any of them missed a visit was when school was mandatorily shut down. So I put some statistics. I think we saw over 1,000 kids throughout the year visit wise. These 9 classes, they came every month. And I'm really proud that we were able to keep this going without any disruption. And also at the end of the school year, we spoke with the principal, who was so pleased with how everything worked that they actually requested that we do this again next year. They felt that this setup was better in the library just because they weren't as distracted. They had more time to focus on just their materials. So that was really a bright spot for us, seeing that, you know, our temporary plan ended up being something that might be permanent, and that works for everyone. And as Mary Ellen referenced, our last day in service at the branch was Saturday, June 12th. We were heading into some really exciting times now that we're up for Reimagine. So the staff and I spent the day yesterday with Jen's help, cleaning out the branch, packing everything up. We closed the doors to a completely empty branch except for furniture, which was really fun. So the East Canton branch, a little history, has been around since 1962. It started in a little storefront on Main Street in East Canton, moved into the Fultz Center in 1995, and our current state has not been updated since 1995. And if you know me, and if you've spoken to me in the past year, you know how excited I am for this Reimagine project. And I'm so excited. So that's enough said. But I wanted to give you all the chance to just take a little look at the East Canton branch and say farewell to all the green shelving and all the fun 90s decor that's still in there. So part of the services that we provided this past year were virtual story times to a lot of the elementary school kids in the area. And since they weren't able to come in the library, one of my librarians filmed a tour of the library so she could still bring the kids in there. So just a couple short minutes. This is just going to be your last glimpse at the branch so that you can see farewell. And then hopefully the next time I see you, we'll be in the new location. And I'll leave it to Chris.
Hi, friends. Welcome to the East Canton Library. I wanted to show you what our library looks like since so many of you have asked questions about it. So over here, we have the adult section. And here's our front desk. There's our friendly little bear mascot. We have computers for
That's a
people
cute
to
idea.
use.
The wallpaper in this place is like your grandmother's bathroom. It's not horrifying.
Look at all the books. Those are all for adults.
These chairs next to them.
And then we have music and movies.
Next is from this.
And this is the young adult section. And here is the children's department. So as you can see, I have tons and tons and tons of books. Books on CD and audiobooks, voice books that read to you, board books for babies and toddlers, and lots of picture books. These are my new books. There's lots. I've been getting new books every day. Popular books on series, and my nonfiction is Against the Wall. I actually have book displays that change every month, and this month I have so many new books that my displays are new books.
So old fashioned compared to
And
Jackson, doesn't it? Oh.
See all those. And for you guys, if you were to come in here and you were looking for a book that you could read, I would direct you over to these shelves over here. So these are beginner reader books. And then the older children when you start reading chapter books. So this is what the East Canton Library looks like. Hope you guys enjoyed your little short tour. Have a good day.
And that was Corinne Wheeler, my children's librarian, who'd probably be mortified if she knew that you guys were all listening to her voice, but she's wonderful. She does a great job with the kids. Just wanted to give you guys your last glimpse at the old East Canton branch before you get to see the brand new one. Any questions or
No, that was an
tips for not muting? You know, I have those too.
that was an excellent presentation, and
Aw, thanks.
you can tell you're a very enthusiastic person. I'm sure it's contagious for all the people that work with you. But,
I hope so. Well, thank you guys for having me. It's always good to see everyone.
thank you, and we'll look forward to seeing the reimagined East Canton branch.
Me too. All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Ann.
Okay, next on the agenda is Mariana. Welcome again.
Hi,
We always love
thanks for
your
having me.
updates for us.
All right, so I am updating everyone today on the Sisters of Charity grant project. So in April, we received $89,000 to do a project to address learning loss with students in Canton City. So we have put the project together and we rolled it out last Monday, June 7th, and it's going really well. So I just wanted to give a little update on what that project looks like. So we actually, before June 7th, we reached out to all of the Canton City rising kindergarten through third graders. They all received a kit that we created. It had a journal in it, a gel pen, and we put a flyer in there advertising what we're calling the Canton City Summer Fun School. And the way we're addressing learning loss this summer is through activity kits that we created using the Reimagining School Readiness platform, which was created by the Bay Area Discovery Museum. And this addresses learning and school readiness for children birth through age 8. And there's all kinds of activities that are available, or ideas, and we put some kits together based on the activities. And they're all about using process-based learning so that kids are not doing like a single project that all looks the same, but it's all about having kids use their imaginations to learn and having them engage with their parent or caregiver to learn. And so the program is 8 weeks long, started June 7th, and it's going through August 7th. And we're doing this in a couple of different ways. One is through enrichment sites where kids are participating in different camps throughout Canton this year. We're going to Canton City's summer school, which is happening 2 days a week at Cedar, and they have over 300 kids that are participating in that program. And then we're also going to the YWCA, we're going to CNA, St. Anthony, Our Lady of Peace, JRC, Eric Snow YMCA. And then when we're going to these stops, our bookmobile is delivering activity kits. And then we're also doing stories for the kids. And in addition to getting the kits, they're also getting a book. So at the end of being in this program, the children will receive 8 learning kits and they'll receive 8 books. And I brought some of the kits to share with you. So these are really, they're really cute. This is one called Animal Remix. This has the kids get 2 pictures with 4 animals. And then the premise behind this is that they can create their own animal. So they cut the pictures up. There's a little picture here of an animal that they could make, and then they can make up a story around this. So it really gets them to use their imagination and use their creativity. We have this little activity is a STEM activity using PVC pipes and a marble. We have the petal mandalas was one of the first ones that we did. This includes it has paper, contact paper. There's little flower petals in here. And it's all about, pull out some of these, and tissue paper. And the kids can create their own mandala, like it was found in nature, using these little different activities. This one here is a group activity that we're giving to all of the enrichment sites in the schools. So this is one for 4 kids. So 4 kids are going to use these together. It's called Will It Stick? And they are to use the activities or the items that are in this kit to make, to see how many things they can get to stick on here. So again, using their STEM skills to do that, and also some teamwork activities in there. And all of the kids, both at the enrichment sites and at our food and family stops, are getting all of these and the books. So a second part of this program, we have rolled out with 6 stops around Canton, and we're calling them food and family stops. So we're going to 4 SMHA housing sites, Skyline Terrace, and also Schreiber School. At these stops, we're bringing our bookmobile. We're setting up a pop-up library. The kids can come out with their parents and they get an activity kit. They get a book. We're doing stories for them. And then we're giving them a tracker so that the parents can take that home. And then there's different activities that the kids can do with their parents at home during the week. And they're simple things that build literacy and learning, like reading books together, taking walks, preparing meals together. So they're all learning through kind of organic ways. And then the kids can bring their tracker back the following week. When they do that, they are automatically entered to win a $25 gift card. We're giving $25 gift cards away each week at each stop. I was at Schreiber School this past week, and we had a winner. We had about 12 kids came with their parents, so it was really nice to see them. They were coming back regularly, bringing their trackers and getting their new activities, and they were really excited to do that. And then in addition to getting the kits, getting books, and learning stories, when they bring their tracker back, the kids and the parents can pick something out of our little box right here. So we found some really cute things for the parents. We've got bubbles for kids, Play-Doh, again, all things that are learning based so that kids can continue these learning activities with their parents at home throughout the summer. So at the end of the summer, everyone that returns a tracker, we're keeping all of them, and then we're going to have a grand prize drawing and do a $100 gift card drawing for the kids that have participated. At Skyline Terrace, we've gotten some really good responses at these food and family stops. Also, in addition to all of this, we're also giving away bags of food from the Children's Hunger Alliance. So because these stops are once a week, the families are able to pick up 5 bags of food each week that they come. So they're getting meals to keep them throughout the week. And that's, so each week they're doing that. And at the Skyline Terrace, that was the one where we didn't get a lot of engagement last week. So next week we're gonna, we've created a new flyer. We're reaching out to all of the families that are there again, and we're gonna have the Kona Ice Truck. So I'm trying to bring the families together so that we can engage them with the learning activities. So.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Yeah.
Tell about the sweatshop.
Yeah. So
Do you want to know about this?
So all of these kits, so these are all being assembled individually. We have a schedule for doing these. So Canton City program and some of the other programs some of them are only 4 weeks long. So they're getting 2 activity kits each week because we have a total of 8. At the food and family stops, then it's 1 kit per week. So we've got a schedule so that we're creating enough kits so that for the 4-week program, the students can get 2 per week. We've taken over the old Tom Todd area up there. We've got little stations set up, 4 stations, and we set up all of the items to make the kits, and we have staff going up there. Our mobile services staff has been amazing. So they're the ones that have really, they're delivering the program through mobile services, and they're also assembling the kits. So you can imagine some of these. One of the kits that we have coming up is Story Stones, and there's going to be three stones in the kit, and the kids are going to create characters and setting using the rocks and then make up stories with them. So that's the next one. So yeah, lots of time involved in it, but they're really being well received. We were at Canton City last week, and our mobile services staff were doing a little show and tell with these. One thing that we don't want to do is do the activities with the child, because we really want them to be self-directed, and that's the whole part of the learning that is coming from these kits. So everything, the mandalas are not all going to look the same. The animals are not all going to look the same. So it's all about the kids kind of taking these, and even we're explaining to parents, there's tips on here for the parents so that they can continue doing the activities with their kids, and explaining to them that we really want it to be self-directed. And with the parents learning together. So not, this is how you should do it, but this is what it looks like after we do it together. So we're really grateful to the Sisters of Charity for that grant. It's allowed us to really reach a lot of students, and it's been going really well, so we're really excited about it. Does anyone have any questions about it?
No questions? Thank you, Mary Ellen.
All
I'm
right,
sure
thank you.
you've been very excited to be back in the thick of it again,
We
right?
really are. It's really nice to
Yeah.
be out and see the kids and the parents. So it's been wonderful.
Thank you again for your great work. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Next on the agenda is the consent calendar. You've all had an opportunity to read the items contained within the consent calendar. I'd ask for a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded. All in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Building and Grounds Committee report. Do we have anything to report there?
I can give you a brief update on North. Furniture has started arriving this week, and Olaberry should be wrapping up their work there in the next couple of weeks. We anticipate the shelving and the frames should be in place in July so that the collection can be brought back in to the facility. And it's our hope to do a grand reopening in mid-July. But we're waiting to make sure we have the shelving received. There have been some supply chain issues before we send out those announcements, but we hope in the next week or so that we'll be ready to invite the community back to the branch.
I would add to that, we're staying pretty on track with the budget. We've had a few hiccups here and there just with things popping up, but we're still going to be within the contingency unless something major happens before we reopen. We were really hoping to roll into when Olaberry left and we entered that we would have enough contingency in case we ran into an issue. And we hit the target number that we wanted to have. So we should be pretty comfortable with North. Obviously you're probably hearing of construction and increased costs everywhere. So that's something we're ongoing, just looking at as we move into the other projects. And especially as Olaberry will be giving us a bid or a price on the other 3 projects here later this year. So we're just kind of monitoring that as we move forward and trying to adjust how much of our contingency we're trying to save for those later projects.
Yes. Any other questions or comments on Building and Grounds Committee matters? Bob, anything to add?
No, nothing to add. Thanks. I think Derek sent something out for July 13th that we can have a preview of North. And I think I read today that now lumber's starting to come down.
Yeah.
I really-
There's an oversupply, so maybe that'll work in our favor.
Good. All right, thank you. Next on the agenda is the Human Resources Committee report, and I believe we have a matter to discuss there. Who is running with that?
I can. In your packet, there is a resolution that would give me as the CEO the authorization to approve a paid suspension or administrative leave for a staff member. And this would be limited to an individual employee basis, and it could only be up to 4 weeks over the course of a 12-month period. I would confer with the board's HR committee chair and obtain written approval for this, and then also update the full board if an employee is put in such a status. And it would go back retroactively to April 1st of this year.
Any questions or concerns? Comments? Susan, you're good with this?
Yes, I'm fine with this. Mary Ellen and I reviewed the issue and I concur.
Okay, great. Well, then, having heard no concerns expressed, I'd ask for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Second, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. Okay. Thank you. The motion carries. Finance and Audit Committee report. Chris, I'm assuming you're going to run with that.
Sure. So it's been a while since we've done this. We had a 3-year policy renewal last time, but our insurance policy is, our commercial insurance policy is up for renewal at the end of this month, July 1st to be exact. So we went out, we had Assured Partners, who is our broker, sent out bids to really a handful of different insurance carriers. And we ended up getting plenty of quotes back. We worked with plenty of different carriers. We actually had a lot more interest this time than what we had the last time that I recall going through this process. But ultimately, Cincinnati Insurance, who was our previous carrier, they didn't offer the lowest bid on both pieces, but they offered, it was really competitive on the directors and officers, and it was the lowest on the commercial. So we just thought it would be in our best interest to go with them or recommend them for both. But on the commercial side, so this would be property liability or property and all the other automobile, or sorry, not automobile, all insurance other than directors, officers, employment practices liability, and then also automobile insurance. They offered us another 3-year period. The pricing on that actually went down from what it was before on the normal insurance, including the automobile. And they were willing to offer another 3-year period or 3-year term. The remaining insurance, which would be the automobile, which did decrease, the directors and officers, and then the employment practices, they were only willing to offer a 1-year term this time. So essentially, the resolution before you has the annual premium for the commercial insurance, including the auto coverage, is $55,691. Everything but the auto insurance is for a 3-year term. The auto insurance would be for a 1-year term. So that would be from July 1st, 2021 until either 2022 or 2024, respectively. And then $16,000 for directors and officers and employment practices from July 21 to, and on here, it says July 21 again. It actually should be July 2022. So there's an error in the resolution. It should be 2022. Thank you, Stephanie. One more thing, I know before the board had asked about increasing the directors and officers liability coverage. We originally used to carry 5 million. A handful of years ago, we increased it to 10. We looked at increasing it to 15, and we had a hard time getting a competitive quote. This time, we actually could not receive a quote when we went to bid with these. We couldn't get anybody to offer us 15 million. However, once we received a bid for 10 million from Cincinnati, we got an offer for a 5 million excess coverage from Travelers for an additional 7,000, which is basically the same amount of coverage for 10 million, or the cost for the 10 million coverage would be the cost for the additional 5. So we would be going from about 7,000 per year to about 14,000 per year. Our broker said we could certainly sign up for it. They said that the reason that there's a lot of hesitation to offer us such a large limit because our annual revenue is close to that $15 million number. They said they don't really see a whole lot of cases in organizations our size that go for that size or that end up with that large of a payout. I know the concern was, with the debt that we've taken on. I haven't seen anything where, organizations have, or really the officers of the organization have had to be responsible for paying back that debt especially when an actual building or something tangible is put in place. So, I don't have it included in this resolution, but if the board wanted to, we could add the 5 million excess for an additional $7,000 per year on top of the coverage we have in here. But the resolution for now does not include that.
I hadn't thought about this in advance since I didn't know that was there, but seemingly, and I'll just speak for myself and then any board members can weigh in, but I think at the time that concern was first expressed, that was our first time we had debt, right? As an organization, as I recall, our first bond issuance. And since that time, we've done extensive financial analysis to support our ability to service that debt, barring anything catastrophic. So I would think that, and Susan, you would speak to this, I would think of anybody going after a board member, I think they'd have to show that we acted in bad faith. And we have done anything but acted in bad faith.
Yeah, no, it would be a very high bar that they would have to jump over. So.
And our current coverage, although it's 10 million, it also has a $1 million excess outside limit. So for any, so the library gets 10 million. And then if the library was sued, and the library used all of its 10 million, and then the person going after the library decided to go after the board or the officers of the library, there's an additional 1 million on top of that 10 million of coverage. So there's kind of 11 million in coverage, although it's listed as 10. Again, we could certainly at any point in time, if you guys wish to, look back into the excess, we can, it's not we have to do it today. I just got the email, I think yesterday, with the information about it. So they had to get this bid in before they could get the other ones back.
Personally,
I
I think we should
think-
go ahead with the resolution.
Yeah.
And then maybe discuss it in finance and see if what recommendation would go to the board. I don't think we need to decide that today.
No, we don't.
Yeah, Susan, don't you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I would say, I think we're good to go for today. I definitely think that.
Yeah.
So.
That's a very good suggestion. Any other thoughts or comments on this? Any other concerns? I'm just shocked our costs went down considering we have a
I'm
brand new
sure.
building.
Mhm.
We didn't even have that building last time.
Yeah,
So this is, so yeah, get it signed while we go.
Before the price goes up.
Yeah. So then I guess I'm asking for a motion for an amended resolution, and that amended resolution changing the coverage period on the employment practices policy to extend to July 1, 2022.
Yes.
All right. So with that, do I have a motion to approve the amended resolution?
So move.
I have a second.
Second.
All right, I have a motion second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed, same. All right, thank you very much. The resolution carries. Any new business to come before the board this evening? No? Thank you. If there's no other business to come before the board, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
The meeting's adjourned. Thank you all.